We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swasti na Indro Vriddashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Adhyasa Bashyam by Shankaracharya, consisting of 16 sections. We have finished 12 sections. Today we are going to start with the 13th section. Adhyasa Bashyam is a tool, is a key, is a master key to open the Upanishadic study and the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras. Our entire spiritual study is the study of 3 scriptures. Number 1, Bhagavad Gita. Number 2, Upanishads. Number 3, Brahma Sutra. In all this study, what is the key which we use to understand the text? It is this Adhyasa Bashyam. This is the tool. If we wear this headset, we will be able to listen to the scriptures very clearly, the message which it wants to deliver to all of us. That's why the acharyas of the Vedanta school, especially the Advaita Vedanta school, tell us that this Bhashyam, this commentary, Bhashyam means commentary, is very, very vital. We must understand this. There are many students or many participants of this sessions who have come and said, yes, this is extremely important, we have enjoyed it. There are some students who said, I don't see the relevance. Why are we getting into such a depth? Is it really necessary for our spiritual study? Both the opinions I have received in my distribution of the talks. Our views on this Bhashyam will differ according to what we have studied so far in the spiritual program. If you are a senior student and you have studied the Upanishad, studied Panchadasi, studied Bhagavad Gita, and you have found difficulty in understanding the truth, when you listen to the Adhyasa Bashyam and then reapply in your own mind what you have studied, you will see a lot of clarity coming in your own intellect. This is meant for such students who have studied the scriptures for 25 years, 30 years, they still can't find the essence of the teaching. This is one part of the students. The second part of the students is who are entering into the Upanishadic study. Like most of us, we are trying to enter into the study of 12 Upanishads. For them, it becomes a real boon because right in the beginning, they are trying to get that master key. They are having the key in their pocket and then they start starting the search. When we do the Upanishad, you will start the search of the self. Who am I? Each and every Upanishad is teaching me my real autobiography. Where did I come from? What am I doing? Where am I today? Where am I going to go? This is our complete autobiography. The Upanishads are revealing our own autobiography. We have studied 12 sections. We have seen what is this Adhyasa. We have seen this Adhyasa means it is a superimposition. Superimposition means what exists, I don't see. Like rope. In the rope snake example, rope exists, but I don't see the rope. In reality, what exists? Sat, Chit, Ananda. That is what is called as reality. You can call it reality, you can call it God, you can call it Brahman. Whatever name you can use, but that is what it is. I don't know the reality, I don't know the rope, therefore my intellect projects a snake on the rope. The cause is ignorance in the case of rope snake. The cause is ignorance of the reality, the pure I, without the body, without the mind, without the world. I don't know that reality. It exists. The only proof for that is the scriptures. Eyes will never be able to see the pure reality. Our intellect will not be able to see without the aid of the scriptures. The intellect which uses the scriptures will be able to see this reality, this God, this pure self, as if you are seeing an apple in your hand. Nobody can doubt an apple in our hand. I see an apple in my hand. Can you say I don't see it? No. Our eyes can see the apple, our intellect, with the help of, with the instrument of the scriptures, can see that reality at all times. Rishis and realized people experience this reality as their own self at all times. It is the only immortal entity in the universe. Never affected by time, never affected by space, never affected by anything in creation. Many of us will wonder, does such a thing exist? The Upanishad says, yes, there is an immortal being, there is an immortal reality, no mortality to it. No mortality means time does not affect it. The time affects the body, the time affects the mind, the time affects the creation. All objects in creation are time bound. But the self on which all this is appearing is not time bound. So what is Adhyasa? In essence, means on something, I'm seeing something else. That is called as superimposition. In the third section, we have seen the definition of Adhyasa. We are going to see another beautiful definition in the 14th section. I can talk on and on about this Adhyasa. This is such an important topic, but I will stop here so that we can get into the section number 13, where we stopped last week. I'll just play the chanting.
शास्त्रीये तु व्यवहारे शास्त्रीये तु व्यवहारे यद्यपि बुद्धिपूर्वकारी न अविदित्वा आत्मनः परलोकसंबंधम् अधिक्रियते तथापि न वेदान्तवेद्यम् अशनायाद्यतीतम् अपेतब्रह्मक्षत्रादिभेदम् असंसार्यात्मतत्त्वम् अधिकार अपेक्ष्यते अनुपयोगात् अधिकारविरोधात् च प्राक् च तथा भूतात्मविज्ञानात् प्रवर्तमानं शास्त्रम् अविद्यावद्विषयत्वं न अतिवर्तते तथा हि ब्रह्मणो जयेत् इत्यादीनि शास्त्राणि आत्मनि वर्णाश्रमवयोः अवस्थादि विशेषाध्यासम् आश्रित्य प्रवर्तन्ते.
What is the essence of this 13th section? The essence is, what Shankaracharya says is, this superimposition not only happens in our laukika vyavahara, in our day-to-day transactions, it also happens in all the rituals which we do, like Agnihotra ritual, like all the rituals, whatever we do by way of a fire, lighting up a fire and performing a ritual. He says that everywhere this adhyasa is happening. There is no transaction, I repeat, there is no transaction without adhyasa. Even a thought in our mind, if I am able to see that thought, if I am aware of that thought, there is an adhyasa. Adhyasa, because I am the pure Sakshi, I am the pure self, the spirit, the indweller in this body, which has got no adhyasa, which is the pure self. And if I have the notion, I notion in this body, then the adhyasa starts there. That is the essence of this verse. We'll see what it says. Shastriyatu vyavahare yadyapi buddhi purvakari. in all transactions, laukika means normal, day-to-day, bodily, mindily, and through verbal transactions. For our livelihood or for rituals. Aviditva atmanaha paraloka sambandham adhikriyate. The ritualist knows himself as a distinct from the body. Yajna is done to go to heaven or to achieve certain things in this world. Most of the main yajna people in the biggest yajna, the fire ritual is conducted because the ritualist, the individual in the body, knows that I am not the body. And he thinks there are 14 lokas as per the Puranas. I will visit one of those other lokas called as Swarga Loka, and then he does the ritual. This is one of the purposes, aims, goals of a ritual. There are many rituals which we do, for example, marriage. I want to get married, I do a ritual. Again, there is Adhyasa, because I consider myself to be the body. In the case of a ritualist who believes in Adhyasa, in the going to heaven, he drops the body. He thinks, I am not the body, but I am someone who is living in this body. But the person who is getting married, he'll say, no, I am the body, I want to get married, that's it. Similarly, for begetting a child, you do a ritual. So many, there are 47 rituals, samskaras, which are called, and we are all follow them in our life. Sometimes we follow the main five, six main ones, and then there are some ritualists who follow all of them. Knowing one becomes an adhikari only if one knows that he is different from the body. Why? Because the body is left here. The body is nothing. It's only it's a house. It's only a house made up of 5 elements, and then it goes back to the 5 elements. Knowing oneself to the body, to be the body, is primary adhyasa. The first adhyasa which happens, the adhyasa again means, you must remember, it is superimposition. What is superimposition? I drop what I am, I take something else as myself. That is what is called as adhyasa. In rituals, one is jivatma, transmigrating individual. So the indweller is there in this body. He will drop the body. He will take another body and go to heaven or go to other lokas, because he wants enjoyment not of this current loka, but he wants to go to the higher 7 other lokas, 6 other lokas. This is the bhuloka. There are 6 other higher lokas. So he wants to go. He believes that he is a transmigrating soul, but not the body. Even there is adhyasa, because what the Upanishads tell us is, you are not the transmigrating soul going after one body to another body to the third body, or coming back to another body in the same loka, in this world itself. You can have rebirth in this world itself, be born to some other parents. So the jiva drops the gross body, takes a subtle body, which consists of 17 subtle organs, the jnana indriyas, karma indriyas, the pancha pranas, 15, reflected consciousness, then antakaranam, the mind instrument. The jiva takes all this along with the karana shariram, which is the punya papa, which is called as the vasanas, the impressions which are left over after enjoying the world in which we live in. Some of these impressions are exhausted when we dream. but some impressions are left behind, for which we have to take another body. The jiva who does this transaction does not know that there is another indweller in this body, which is the pure self, the Atma I. That Atma is always there. It is everywhere. There is no travel for that. Jiva does actions with Adhyasa to the subtle body. When Jiva has Atma Jnanam, then alone he is free from Adhyasa. That is why we say the moment we get the knowledge of the scriptures, that this is what I am, Aham Brahmasmi. Suppose I know that this is my real nature, then there is no Adhyasa. Then I am free. That is what is called as moksha. That is what is called as Jivan Mukti. Vedanta says you are not Jivatma, but you are Paramatma, the Satchit Ananda Swarupa Paramatma. Not the Paramatma which is you can see as an external world. The whole world is Paramatma. That is what Bhagavad Gita teaches us in the 11th chapter. Arjuna was taught, see the whole world as my Vibhuti. 10th chapter says about the glories, the Vibhuti. The 11th chapter, the Lord Krishna shows, you see the whole world, that's all in me. Tathapi na Vedanta Vedyam. The Jiva knows the Karma Kanda, but he doesn't know the Upanishadic Purusha, which is the non-changing eternal Purusha. Suppose you know that, then you have freedom. So the traveling Jiva is an ignorant Jiva. That's what it means here in this essence of this section 13 says that even if you are doing rituals and you are ritualist, you are having Adhyasa. You are making an error. The Upanishad, I've given some quotations of the Upanishads here. Divyo yamurte purushaha sabahyo yajantaro yajaha. So these are all quotations from Upanishads. Kathopanishad has got a very beautiful statement. It says, Anyatra dharma, anyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat, krita anyatra bhutacha, bhavyacha, yat pashyati tadvad. The seeker asks Lord Yama, the Lord of Death, oh Lord of Death, you are the one who takes the life in this body away from this body. You are the one. You are the Lord of Death. And you are the one who gives another body to the same Jiva. Now tell me, you are the best teacher for me. An 8-year-old boy goes to Lord of Death and asks this question, is there anything which is other than this virtue and vice? Is there anything which is different than right and unright, wrong, cause and effect? Is there anything between which is other than past and future? Because it is the past, the present moment becomes past, and the present becomes moment becomes future. All the time this is happening. I am never available in the present. I am always thinking of the past. I'm always thinking of the future. Tell me something. He says something. That is where the whole Upanishad is based on this mantra. Kathopanishad based on this mantra. And then Lord Yamadharmaraja says, I will teach you what lies beyond the body mind. That is Kathopanishad. Kenopanishad, the student is very simple. He says, commanded by whom is this prana working in this body? Commanded by whom is this speech working? What is the intelligence behind the eyes which goes and sees the form and color? What is that intelligence which is able to hear the sound? Beautiful question. These are the type of questions a spiritual teacher will ask this, a spiritual student will ask the teacher. Then the teacher roars and says, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manoso Mano Yad Vacho Hi Vacham Sau Pranasya Pranaha Chakshushash Chakshuri Adimuchadiraha Pretisman Lokan Amrita Bhavanti. There is an immortal consciousness which lies behind the prana, which lies behind the eyes, which lies behind the vocal cords, which lies behind the ears. I will teach you that. Ishavasya Upanishad. Om Ishavasya Idagam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagate Ena Taktena Bhunjita Madhrida Kasya Svittanam. Right in the beginning, it says there is a consciousness which pervades the whole universe. Understand that consciousness and drop your limited identity with the body and mind. 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. उत्तम पुरुष स्वन्य परमात्मे तो दाहृत यो लोकत्रम विषय विभर्तव्य ईश्वर. Very beautiful section of the Bhagavad Gita which talks the Paramatma Swarupam. There is an Swarupa of the Lord which is indestructible, never perishes. That Swarupam exists in your body. Know that Swarupam and be free. If you know the immortal Lord, you will know the immortal self, because the self is the Lord according to the scriptures. So as a ritualist, Jiva believes in Pratyavaya dosha. For example, if you don't do the Nitya Naimitya karma of doing puja at home every day, they say that you incur a Pratyavaya papa dosha. You are supposed to do something, you don't do it, therefore you get a dosha, a deficiency. This deficiency is nothing but it is a notion in the mind. You yourself know, I should have celebrated that Diwali, I should have celebrated that Ganesh Puja. I didn't do that puja. It troubles your mind. I should have done this arti. I should have done this this japam or this archana. I didn't do it. It troubles your mind. That is what is called as pratyavaya. I should have done, I didn't do it. Therefore, you do prashchitta. As an atonement for papa karma, you say, okay, I will do now Suryan, I will do the Surya Namaskara. I will do Pradakshinam of the Lord of the temple, 3 rounds. Just to get away from all the, see, the Punya Papam affects the mind's internal structure. That is how the whole law of karma is based. I mean, one can talk a lot in this depth, but I want to cut it so that we go back to our discussion here. Ashanayat atitam. Ashana and pipasa, hunger and thirst. These two belong to the prana, shakti in the body. Every 3 hours, I feel hungry. I feel like drinking some water. It is the shakti of the prana which is the cause of hunger. These are properties of Pranamaya Kosha. For those who are doing the Wednesday sessions classes with me, where I'm teaching the Panchakosha Viveka, Taittiriya Upanishad, the Panchadasi chapter 3, you will understand this very easily. So Ashanaya and hunger and thirst belong to the Pranamaya Kosha. It belongs to the Prana. Brahmana Kshatriya Bhedam. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, these are all 4 varnas. According to the impressions which we have brought about in this body, the scriptures tell us that we are of the 4 types of mind. My mind structure is a Brahmana structure or a Kshatriya structure, Vaishya structure, Shudra structure. These are the only 4 ways the mind structure is presented in the Vedas. Irrespective of wherever you live, you may be living in Russia, America, Africa, human mind is the same mind. It is made up of the same 5 subtle elements. I identify with the Brahmana, Kshatriya, the mind's qualities, and I say, I am a Brahmana, I am a Kshatriya. Then there is another Adhyasa, Ashrama Adhyasa. First 10, 15 years, you say, I am a Brahmachari. Then I get married, I am Grihastha. After 50 years, I say, I am in Vanaprastha. I want to retire now. And ultimately, you say, I want to drop everything. I want to be a sannyasi. The I doesn't change. There is an I notion in all the ashramas. There is an I notion in Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The I notion does not change. What changes is the Adhyasa, the superimposition, changes. This is all happening in the realm of time and space. The I notion, which is born in time, which goes out in time. The Jiva is born in time and he goes off in time. But Sakshi is always there. Trikala api tishtati. That Sakshi is the real self. In that Sakshi, there is no I notion. It is pure self. So one considered himself or herself to be a doctor, lawyer, businessman. The human beings are made of differences because the society needs it, not for moksha. The society, for us to be a living being in this world, we need the varna and ashrama. The society needs all varieties. The whole society can be broken up into these 4 categories or these 4 categories. That's all. Whether you are an African, whether you are in China, or whether you are any part of the world, it's these 4 and 4, which constitutes the structure of the thinking process of a living being. Jiva is not a transmigratory, so we move between roles, defreeze the mind, move to action, all with Adhyasa. When do we defreeze the mind? Sleep state. Mind is not active, but I am there. Who is that I? That I is not the sleeper I, but it is the Sakshi I. Without the I notion, I am the Sakshi. With the I notion, I am the sleeper. Asamsari Jiva is not the transmigratory soul. If is not the transmigratory soul, why does the Karma Kanda not teach the self-knowledge? Why do you have to come to the end of the Vedas, which is called as Jnana Kanda? Adhikari apekshate. Shankaracharya says, you are not fit for the knowledge of the self. You are fit only for the enjoyment of this world. Therefore, the Veda teaches you all the rituals you do for this happiness. Anupayoga, it is of no use, therefore you are not taught. Adhikari virodatvat. You are not the adhikari. The moment you start coming to the Veda class, this Veda class or Vedanta class, you become an adhikari. The moment you walk into a Gita talk or a Upanishadic talk or a Brahma Sutra talk, you become fit because you have seen Pariksha Lokan, you have seen what is life and what it can give, what it cannot give. It cannot give permanent happiness. It can give temporary happiness for a very short time. But then human mind is not fulfilled with that. There are rare people like you who come to the Upanishads and say, let me hear what the Vedas are roaring, and where so many people have got the benefit of realizing the truth. So those who want to go to Swarga, you don't teach them you are Sakshi or Prajnanam Brahma. You are the consciousness. No, they will not listen to you because they are interested in something else. They want enjoyment in another world. They will definitely do 100 yagyas. Vivek Chodamani has got a beautiful section from this 254 to 264, around that sections. Jati neti kula durakam, gotra durakam, nama rupa guna varjitam, deshakali vishayadi vartit, brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. It's a very, very beautiful section of Shankaracharya has written, where these are all verses for meditation. The one without adhyasa has no caste, creed, family, lineage. The one without adhyasa has no name, form, merit, demerit. The one without adhyasa has no space, time, sense objects. That Brahman you are. So beautiful. Nirvana Shatkam. Manobuddhi ahankara chittani naham. I am not the antakaranam. I am not the 5 sense organs of perception. I am not the 5 elements. I am the pure knowledge. I am the bliss which the Upanishads declare. I can, if my mind can travel in this right direction, our life will become blissful, fulfilled. The ultimate wisdom to use is not the Karma Kanda, but it is Jnana Kanda. Veda Vyasa has put Vedanta in all the sections of Vedas. In the Brahmana portion also, you will find Keno Upanishad. In the Mantra portion also, you will find Ishavasya Upanishad. And of course, in Veda Anta portion, you find all other Upanishads. Veda Anta is not an end of Veda, but in the Veda for a senior student. For a junior student, yeah, it is the end of the Vedas. But for a senior student, you should understand it is Vedanta means it is in the Vedas. At the same time, you can't be a samsari Atma and Shuddha Atma. You can't be a Jnani and Ajnani at the same time because your mind has changed. Once the ignorance of the self goes, you are a Jnani. You come to realize the self in its pure nature. Like sthiti and gati. Sthiti means standing. Gati means running. You can't be doing running and standing at the same time. It's not possible at the same time. Similarly, jnani and ajnani cannot remain at the same locus. In Shastriya Vyavahara, one knows one is not the body, but one is an individual different than the body. The soul different than the body. Adhyasa is reduced but not eliminated in Karma Kanda. In the rituals, Adhyasa is reduced. You don't believe that you are the body. So to that extent, the superimposition is reduced. But then you have a bigger Adhyasa. I will be traveling, I will go to heaven, I will enjoy the fruits of all the lokas there. Bhagavad Gita says you will again come back to this earth only, don't worry, because your punyam, once it is finished, you will come back. Before knowledge, Shastra says you are not the body, but Jiva, the individual. Before the knowledge, before the self-knowledge. So first, the Shastra says you are not the body, you are the individual, different than the body. Then the Shastra talks about the individual, the mind. And then Shastra says, drop the mind and go beyond the mind, transcend the mind, which has got ignorance in it. Tatahi Brahmano yajeti. Some karmas for Brahmanas, some karmas for Kshatriyas, and some karmas are for Vaishyas. Atmani means in the pure self, Sakshi, you are always without the three bodies. See, we have to understand two selves in this body. There is a Jivatma self and there is a Sakshi or Paramatma self. The moment I identified with the Jivatma, I become samsari. The moment I get the knowledge from the scriptures, I am free from this Jivatma self. I am the pure self. How Shastra functions? By superimposing certain things on Atma. For example, when you're doing the rituals, most of you who are doing the rituals, you will understand what I'm saying now. In some of the rituals, like in marriage rituals, the wife of the person, of the Yajamana, is supposed to look at the ghee which is being offered to the fire. The wife. By looking at the ghee, the Shastra says she is purifying the ghee which is being offered to the fire. Special importance is given to the ashrama, varna, and vyavya, also to the age, vayaha. At 8 years, we are supposed to start the Sandhya Vandana. The sick and the healthy states are superimposed on the body, then the Shastra functions. You can't escape it because that is, we have come with this baggage. We have come with the baggage of having done karmas in the past, several births. Entire Karma Kanda rests on Adhyasa. What a bold statement Shankaracharya makes here. You can see the importance of this Adhyasa Bashyam. Vidhi Nisheda does not have relevance to a jnani, a seeker of moksha. You have to be a jignasu for moksha. Jignasu means you have to be a person, a seeker of knowledge. That knowledge which is not dependent on the karma. That is the Atma Jnana. All is rooted in Adhyasa. What is the final conclusion? You have said so much in this 13th section. Rituals, that, Laukika, Shastriya, Vyavara, all that. What is the final? Tell me in one sentence, what is all this saying? All is rooted in Adhyasa. All transactions in the waking state is rooted in Adhyasa. On the Adhyasa of the I notion in this body, which is the Jiva indweller, thinking that he is that ego. We have covered 3 topics, Uddesha, Lakshana, and Pariksha. All questions are answered in the 13th section. So the discussion on Adhyasa Bashyam is over in this section. Shankaracharya, being a brilliant teacher, he will summarize the entire teaching in the next section. He knows there are students like us who may not be able to remember all what has been taught. That is the sign of a teacher. The teacher will again repeat and again will state the conclusion, like Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Again, Lord Krishna says in the 18th chapter, Arjuna, has your moha been destroyed? Has your delusion been destroyed? Otherwise, he is ready to start the Bhagavad Gita again. Arjuna says, no, my delusion is gone. And then Lord Krishna ends the Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, Shankaracharya here in the 14th section gives another brilliant definition of Adhyasa and concludes this section. And then 15th and 16th section is just a winding up. Let's hear what this section is.
Adhyaso nama atasmin. Adhyaso nama atasmin. Tadbuddhihi. Tadbuddhihi. Iti avochama. Iti avochama. Tadyatha. Tadyatha. Putra bharyadishu. Putra bharyadishu. Vikaleshu, vikaleshu, sakaleshu va, ahameva vikalaha, sakalo va, iti, bahyad dharman, atmani, adhyasyati, tatha deha dharman, stulo aham, krusho aham, gauro aham, tisthami, gacchami, langyami, cha iti, tisthami, gacchami, langyami, cha iti, tatha indriya dharman, mukaha, kanaha, klibaha, mukaha, kanaha, klibaha, badhiraha, ando ahamiti, tatha antahkarana dharman, kama sankalpa, vichikitsadhyavasayadin, evam aham pratyayinam प्रत्ययिनम् अशेषस्वप्रचारसाक्षिणी अशेषस्वप्रचारसाक्षिणी प्रत्यगात्मनि अध्यस्य तं च प्रत्यगात्मानं सर्वसाक्षिणं तद्विपर्ययेण अन्तःकरणादिषु अध्यस्यति
Even if you have not done 13 sections, but still want to know what is Adhyasa, this is the section. This 14th section, if you know correctly, everything is summarized here. Whatever has done in 1 to 13 is beautifully summarized in the 14th section by Shankaracharya. What does he say here? These are the 5 points. You can read it. After we have gone through the slides, you will be able to understand this better. So I will not go through each of this, but I will go through the slide. Adhyaso nama atasmin tat buddhihi iti avochama. Atasmin tat buddhihi. This is the new definition which Shankaracharya gives in this section. And how this definition is valid, he also gives us the explanation for that. What is Adhyasa? Smriti Rupaha. It is of the nature of memory. Paratra. It is in a locus, not where it should be. Purva Drishta Avabhasaha. I must have had the experience of that sometime before. That is the definition given in section 3. Here, the definition is tasmin atasmin tat buddhihi. Tasmin means in that. Atasmin means not tasmin, in not that. Tat buddhihi. That notion, that cognition, that perception, that fallacious idea, tat buddhihi. Tasmin means in that rope. Atasmin, seeing a snake which is not there, is the error. So this is the definition of superimposition. In not snake, seeing the snake. In not silver, seeing the shell. In not the dream, seeing the dream. You are a waker, but you are seeing the dream. That is what is called as tasmin atasmin tat buddhihi. All superimpositions, you can follow this definition. You will understand the definition has been given by Shankaracharya. Even though he has given 2,000, 3,000 years ago to defeat the other schools of thought, even today it is valid. Even today, a person who studies this, he will be able to tackle all the opponents of all the schools of thought. That is why they say you study Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta first. I mean, if you are fortunate, you will come to this school. If you understand the school of Shankaracharya, then you can fight any other school of thought, including science. So section 1 is this Purva Pakshi, section 2 was the Siddhantin, and then the section 3 was the definition at that time. In not that having a notion of that, in not being the Jiva, I am having the notion of I am the Jiva. In the body, I am not the Jiva, I am having the notion I am the Jiva. In the substratum, the self, having a contrary fallacious notion is called as superimposition. When you see for yourself that the snake is in the rope, the world is in Satchidananda, then you have removed the Adhyasa. You have removed the error. The whole world, Jiva, Ishvara, Jagat, all three are Triputis. Waking, dream, and sleep. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. All this, the Panchakoshas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them are Anatma. They are all superimpositions on the pure consciousness. The reality is Sat Chit Ananda Atma. What this is, you will know in Taittiriya Upanishad. In short, you should know it is the pure self without the body, mind, and the world. That you can understand even now. I am of the nature of Satchit Ananda Atma. Do I experience this? Yes, I experience it every day. Because I exist in sleep as this pure self. That is the revelation of the Veda. Tadyatha, to show veracity of the definition of Adhyasa, atasmin tad buddhihi, it is in this way that Adhyasa happens, in not that seeing that, Atmani, in the self, which is not the wife or the children or the son whom we love, we see the son, we see the wife, that is what is called as superimposition. I'm seeing the body, I'm not seeing the self. The self is only one. The self in my wife and the self in me is the same self. There is oneness in this whole universe, which is called as Brahman or Atman. That is the indwelling self. The more I learn the Adhyasa Bashyam, I will be able to separate the body, mind, and see the consciousness in the body. You remove all the objects from a room, what is left out is the pure space. That pure space and the outside space is non-different, it is one space. Remove all the thoughts from your mind, remove all the thoughts in my mind. What is there is one consciousness in your mind and my mind. Mind is different, but the consciousness which is aware of the mind is the same. Vikala Sakaleshu, in the sound, seeing unsound. Good health, bad health. Vikala means not sound, afflicted. Sakala means all well, good health, not handicapped, perfect health. Handicap means Vikala. Aham eva sakala vikalava. When the child comes in first class, first in the class, there is known, happiness is known in the parents. That is what is called as sakala. For example, when a new car which I buy, and while parking, I just hit the wall and I scratch the brand new car. brand new BMW or a brand new Mercedes Benz. What happens? Vikala happens. Frustration. Oh, how did this happen? And then your mind is in tatters. It is shattered. That is Atmani Adhyasati. You are the consciousness aware of the mind, but you're not aware of this. You take yourself to be the mind and then you suffer for 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 days, 3 days, sometimes 1 month. In the self, pure Sakshi Brahman, not that property of the Putra, Bharya, mother-in-law, father-in-law, you are putting. Tatha Deha Dharman. These are all properties of the body. Now Shankaracharya gives examples of Adhyasa. Fantastic examples. These are the examples which are given by all Acharyas in the Gita Bashyam Upanishad. These are all simple examples to show that Adhyasa is happening to all of us. It is universal. And by the study of Upanishads, we learn how to drop this superimposition and claim our real nature as the pure Sakshi. Stuloham, I am fat. This is an Adhyasa. Why it is Adhyasa? I is consciousness, the pure self. It exists without the body, mind, and intellect. I again and again remind you, because this is my nature, which the Upanishads tells me is the pure self. I take the body as the self and say, I am fat. Krishoham, I am thin. Gauroham, I am fair. Tishtami, I am standing. Gachami, I am walking. Langayami, I am jumping. All these are all Atmani Adhyasyati. In the self, the body is superimposed. In the body is fair, dark, mixed up. The color, the attributes are dharma adhyasa. It is the property of the body. But the body itself is dharmi adhyasa. Tatha indriya dharma. Now he has finished the body. Now he goes to the senses. What are the superimposition in the senses? The properties of the indriyas you are superimposing. Very beautiful examples, huh? That's why I said if you learn this 14th section alone, the entire superimposition, the whole commentary will be clear. Right in the beginning, I said this also, wait till the end, then it will be clear to you. Wait till the end, because many people came and said, what is this Adhyasa Bashyam? I'm not able to understand, especially when we did the 2nd and the 4th sections, maybe the 4th section, where there were different schools of error. Akhyati, all that schools of error which we did, Sankhya school. That time I said, don't worry, you don't understand, that doesn't matter. Now you understand this. The properties of Indriyas you are superimposing in not self, feeling that body, mind, world. Mukaha. Suppose somebody says, I am dumb. I can't speak. I can't hear. I am one-eyed. I am deaf. I am blind. Kanaha means one-eyed. Klibaha means impotent. I can't beget children. It is the quality of the Indriyas. Badiraha, I am deaf. It is that I am not deaf, I am consciousness. I am not dull with a dull mind. I am consciousness. Don't blame your memory. That is, memory belongs to the body, subtle body. I don't understand. Don't worry. It is not you. It is the intellect, which is a subtle body. Stop saying I don't understand. Stop saying I don't have a good memory. Stop saying I am sick. Stop saying I am old. You're not this, not this, not this, not this. That is what Shankaracharya is teaching in the Adhyasa Bashyam. Andoham, blind. Iti atmani adhyasyati. Tatha antakarana dharman. We have seen body, we have seen sense organs. Now he is going to the antakaranam, the internal organs, which is the mind, primarily the mind. In the self, having the notion of the properties of the mind, intellect, instrument. What are the properties of the mind? Kamaha. I am a very desireful person. I have got 2,000 desires. How can I get rid of this? Study the Adhyasa Bashyam, you'll get rid of all the desires. Because desires belong to the mind. By knowledge alone, you can eliminate the desires by falsifying them. You cannot, if you want to sit down and start eliminating each of the desire, you will never end. You will have to take several births. Sankalpaha, resolve. I resolve to do something. New Year resolutions. That all belongs to the intellect. Why it is forgotten after 4 months in April? Because it is intellect. It is the job. It is the nature of the property of the intellect. I forget all the New Year resolutions. Vichikitsa, doubt. Adhya Vyavasaya, determination, firmness. They are all Atmani Adhyasyati. In not that self, continuously I transfer the property of the body, property of the mind is being transferred to the consciousness. This tadatmaya means oneness. When I superimpose that attribute of the mind and I become one, that is what is called as tadatmaya. The oneness is happening moment to moment. The moment I say I am hungry, immediately you say this oneness comes in, tadatmaya comes. This oneness is the sambandha which happens. This is a relationship between the I and the I notion. Evam. In this way, the property of the body, mind, world, child, wife, and so on is superimposed on the self. Aham pratyahinam asisheshaha swaprachara sakshini pratyagatmani adhyasa. In the pratyagatma, in the inner self, which is the real sakshi, which is a witness of prachara. Prachara means all the functions and activities. Swaprachara, I take it as myself. Aham pratyahina means what? In all where we have invested the sense of I. Very important word in Sanskrit. Aham pratyayahinam. Normally we have invested in, that is the economic sense, investment of money. Here Shankaracharya says investment of your sense of I. Beautiful word. I like this because see, we are used to investments outside, property, bonds, shares, so on. But here you are talking about another type of investment. In this body, there is a I notion. Aham, aham, aham. The moment you wake up, this aham is there. When I'm not there in this body, aham is there. That aham is supposed to be my real self. But this aham, when it is coming in the body, I start experiencing the world. Aham pratya vritti asmin. In whatever we have put aham vritti, that aham vritti is superimposed. Without the superimposition, it is called as sakshi nirvikara swarupa. Nirvikara means without modification. Each one of us, when you look inside, close your eyes, you can see two eyes. One eye is Sakshi eye, which never says that I am Sakshi. There is a second eye which says Aham, Aham, I. That is the I thought in the mind. The Aham thought is the property of the body, mind, senses, and the world. All this I call as I now, which is the notion of I. So today, what I take myself today, without the knowledge of the Upanishads, I am now beginning the study of Upanishads, which I am talking about the ego I, which is the reflected I, which comes into waking state and it goes off in sleep. Again comes in the waking state, again goes off. That is the superimposed I notion. Body alone has activities. Sakshi does not have any activity. Aham pratyahinam is conglomerate of body, mind, senses, complex. The sense of I is superimposed on pure Chaitanyam. Pure Chaitanyam is the real knower, the consciousness in this body, the inner self, pratyagatma. Really speaking, it is only a witness of activity of the body-mind complex. That is its only nature. But on that pure nature, I impose all these body functions. Atma is pratyak, inner, drik, the seer, sentient, it is chit surupa, it is subject aham, it is grahakaha, perceiver, and what is the not self? It is parag. It is not self. Drishyam. It is seen. What is seen? Body is seen, mind is seen, world is seen. Therefore, it is anatma. And whatever is anatma, according to the scriptures, is inert, jadam. All anatma is object of consciousness. It is grahyam, perceived, not the perceiver, grahakaha. The two natures are diametrically opposite. One is the spirit, another is the matter. One is Chaitanyam, other is Jadam. We are intermixing both and causing havoc in life. After having superimposed the dharmi and the dharma adhyasa, what do? Tad viparyena, same word is used to complete the circle of doubt and explanation. Shankaracharya, in the beginning, he used tat viparyena. He is now in the end also, he is using tat viparyena. We superimpose in asmat, you put yushma. For those who have studied the first two verses, asmat, yushmat, you will remember. Asmat means in this self. Yushmat means you put the body, mind, and the world, and the properties. In anatma yushmat, you put asmat. In the body, which is jadam, you take eyes and say, this body is existing. That means you're putting the pure consciousness in the body. The self is superimposed on the indriyas, deha, manaha, and so on. And the self's property of existence, conscience is bliss, which is the real nature. You don't understand its pure existence. So in conclusion, Adhyasa is universally accepted phenomenon. We discussed three topics: Uddesha, Lakshana, Pariksha. Pariksha means examination. Lakshana means the definition. Uddesha means the conversation between the student and the teacher. And then finally, we studied the Uddesha again, the final closure. What Shankaracharya says is, I have explained how Adhyasa is naturally happening phenomena in the world of waking, dream, and sleep. The Purva Pakshi in the first section said there is no Adhyasa between Atma and Anatma. This is how the conversation started. The Purva Pakshi means opponent said, how can you say there is superimposition between Atma and Anatma? They are diametrically opposite. One is consciousness, another is inner. How does this all happen? Shankaracharya in these 14 sections has shown how this happens. Anything you say is rooted in Adhyasa. Superimposition is complete. Atma has gone to Anatma. Anatma has gone to Atma. That is the superimposition. It is a knot which we tie with our ignorance. We see, now that you have understood Adhyasa, what should I do? Start seeing this superimposition in daily life, happening everywhere. Suppose you see two people talking about their children, Adhyasa is happening. Suppose you see another man grumbling, oh, I am suffering this, Adhyasa is happening. Keep observing, noting down. Keep observing, noting it down. Then what happens? When I am facing the Adhyasa, I will be alert. I am not a part of Adhyasa, but I am a witness of Adhyasa as Sakshi. That is the advantage, that is the benefit, the phalam of Adhyasa Bashyam. We will note that not a single thought or a moment I am free of Adhyasa. There is not a single action, even breathing is not free from Adhyasa. Adhyasa is all the way like a virus affecting the motherboard in a computer. We are continuously doing Adhyasa, present tense, past tense, future tense, all are Adhyasa on what? On the pure consciousness. Just to revise, there is Adhyasa between Atma and Anatma. Two are different, but yet together superimposed as one. Hence, it is called as Adhyasa. How can we explain the various notions we have about ourselves? I'm short, I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm fair, I'm happy, I'm ignorant, I'm knowledgeable, I am intelligent, I am dull. All we have taken the properties of the body and mind on the pure consciousness, Sakshi, the self. I, the consciousness, I get an I notion itself when I am aware of this body on waking up. The Upadhi means it is a medium of transaction, instrument of transaction, body, senses, mind, and intellect. I am the witness of the functions of the Upadhi, but I am not the Upadhi. That is the main thing we should understand. Like crystal, you have a crystal and you have a red flower, and in the red hibiscus flower you put on a crystal, pure crystal. What happens? Then you see the crystal to be red. So similarly, on the I, the pure consciousness, the three bodies, the gross body, the subtle body, the three avasthas, the waking, dream, and sleep, the five koshas, they are all the like the red hibiscus. They are all superimposed. They are adhyastam. What is the adhishtanam? Adhishtanam means the substratum, upahitam. Upadhi and upahitam. Upadhi is the instrument. Upahitam is what is superimposed, what is the substratum. And finally, between the upahitam and upadhi, what happens when they are transacting? Adhyasa happens. The I notion comes in. I am tall, I am fair, I am born. This is a very important adhyasa. All of us say I am born. That is the biggest adhyasa, most difficult adhyasa to clear. So that adhyasa, I am the body is, and I am the one who is dying is the toughest adhyasa to remove. Atma is untouched. It is self-evident witness. It is not a part of the scene. It is not in the realm of vyavahara, the transactions, but it is watching. It is knowing the scene. Like, for example, you have the TV screen and the movie is going on. Suppose I take the movie as I become one with the movie, I will start crying. Oh, then because I'm identifying with the hero or the heroine. But if I know it is a screen I'm seeing and it is just a temporary phase for the next half an hour or 45 minutes, it's going to go off, I will not be affected. So similarly, in life, when events happen in our life, remember, I am the pure consciousness. I have studied the Adhyasa Bashyam, which says nothing ever happens to this consciousness. Even if there is an atomic bomb which is exploded, nothing will happen to me, the consciousness. I am ever there. I am immortal. What is my nature? Exactly like I am in my sleep state. But I have removed the ignorance. There's no more ignorance of the sleep state. I am not an ignorant person, as in the sleep state. I am a pure consciousness. Witnesshood is unaffected knowledge. Purva Pakshi had objected how this superimposition is possible. The whole Bhashyam is Shankaracharya's answer. He said that there is a dharmi adhyasa first. A dharmi means body adhyasa, mind adhyasa, substance adhyasa. Then the second adhyasa is a dharma adhyasa, which is the property of the body, property of the mind, that is superimposed. You take yourself to be the husband or a wife related to things and beings in the world. It is caused by adhyasa. It is an error. In love, there is adhyasa. I feel, empathize, I show concern, all emotions happen. All this is adhyasa. Inner feeling of identity happens because of I notion. Even though the sense of identity of pure I and adhyasa, I notion happens, you start recognizing them to be distinctly different after the study of Adhyasa Bashyam. This is a brilliant study. If you have done it, very good. You've had a great success in the study of the spirituality, because without this Adhyasa Bashyam, you try to go into the Bhagavad Gita and read Najayate Mriyate Va Kadachit Nayam Hanti Na Hanyate. Suppose you say Lord Krishna teaches Arjuna, and you also read it and say, oh, the Lord says that you are not the killer, you are not born. You will not understand what does it mean. But when you do this Adhyasa Bashyam, you will clearly say, yes, I understand now. Lord Krishna is talking about consciousness, the Atma. Adhyasa is supremely strong in life, Mukhya and Gauna. What is Mukhya Adhyasa? I with the body, mind, and the I notion is called as Samsarga. Samsarga means natural. Sorupa Adhyasa. Gauna Adhyasa means what? The I notion in my son. That means not in the body, but outside. All the things related to me. Itara Adhyasa. Itara Adhyasa means all which is not the body or the mind, it is external to the body mind. My daughter, my car, my money, my cat, my dog. All that is mutual superimposition. We must study Upanishads, Vishaya and Prayojana. What is the study of Upanishad result in? What is the benefit, Prayojanam of that? Dukkha Nivarti and Sukha Prapti. I get rid of sorrow and I gain happiness. How it happens? Because I remove the Adhyasa and I claim Aham Brahmasmi. What is the Vishaya in the Upanishad? It's only one Vishaya. Self is one with the Supreme Brahman. There is one Jagat Karanam Brahma. The cause of the universe is only one, and that is consciousness. That is the self. This self in this body and the cause of this universe happens to be the same, of the same nature. Therefore, I can easily say Aham Brahmasmi. Self can be one with Brahman only when selfhood we experience, the I notion is recognized as false. Very important statement. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahma Ivana Paraha. That statement of Shankaracharya can be understood only when this I notion is falsified. The present selfhood will be false only if it is caused by ignorance. See, now you will understand the nature of ignorance. It is established the present selfhood is caused by ignorance of the self. It is the pure adhishthanam, the substratum for all the I notion is the self. The notion is what? I am the individual. Whenever you say I am the individual in this body, it means you are ignorant. That can be only removed. It is a cognitive change in the mind. It can be removed only by knowledge. Therefore, inquiry into the self as Brahman is the subject of the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra. It is a valid subject. It is worth studying. The knowledge can make you Brahman because you are really not the Jiva, but you are really that pure self. The sense of Jiva is ignorance-based, Jiva Bhava. If it is truly there, knowledge alone can't be sufficient to solve this problem. But this knowledge solves that problem. It removes the ignorance, it removes the falsehood. This knowledge is of two kinds. True knowledge, false knowledge. False knowledge is ignorance born. Knowing alone is sufficient. Knowledge alone enough for becoming Sakshi. My new status is discovered when I remove this I notion, which is born out of ignorance. This is the advantage of studying this Bhashya. The true knowledge is what? Knowing alone is sufficient, is not sufficient. In the world, for example, knowing the snake alone is not sufficient. Action is required to destroy the snake or the world body-mind complex. Anti-venom is required to destroy the snake, which if it is real. The problem is serious. Therefore, Shankaracharya says a deep study of Upanishad is the solution for this self-ignorance. For moksha, the pure self, must be known, number one. The second thing to be known is I notion must be removed from this body. With that, we will close for today. There are two more sections, 15 and 16. They're very short sections. I will complete it next week. If you have any question regarding the 16 sections, please send me the questions before so that I can prepare and answer you in the next session. Next week, we will finish Adhyasa Bashyam, and we will again start the Upanishadic study. Before we start the Upanishad, I will see whether if time permits, we'll start the Upanishadic study of Kaivalya Upanishad. Otherwise, the following week, we will start the Kaivalya Upanishad. Next week, I will talk to you about the Ohm Chart. The Ohm Chart, most of you know it. I will discuss this chart next week. Many people have asked me to explain the Ohm Chart. I thought at the end of this, before we start the Upanishad, let me explain this chart because it's very closely connected with Adhyasa. Very, very close. This is a brilliant chart developed by Swami Chinmayananda, and with the study of Adhyasa Bashyam, this chart becomes extremely powerful. You suddenly see there's so much of wealth of information in this chart. So we'll study that next week. And with that Ohm Chart, we will close the complete study of Adhyasa Bashyam and then enter into Kaivalya Upanishad, which is a brilliant Upanishad. And then once, because having studied this Adhyasa Bashyam, all Upanishads will become very easy. The next 1 year of study will become very simple. You will find all who have attended these sessions, please, if you have not attended all the sessions, just go through it once. And then it is a one-time, lifetime, you study this Bashyam. It will serve you very well to understand the deeper meaning of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. If you have any questions, you can ask them. I will go through the chat board. Oh, Vijay is still there. I thought she is in Texas and she will not be attending the talk. Okay. I'm very able to understand the example. Okay, good. That's a comment by Vijaya. Okay, good. These are just comments. Anybody else wants to ask any other questions? You can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Pranam Shigarji, Amian Chuya.
Yeah, Amian Chabul. Yes, tell me.
Now I understand that Atma doesn't participate in anything,
Yes.
and in its presence, everything is happening, and hence there is a dasha. Now my question is it all running due to karma kanda of cosmos? And if so, let it run forever, because these are actually not there to solve Adhyasa.
Yes, it is not there in the self. There is nothing happening in the self. Let anything happen in the cosmos. Don't get worried. Let the life go on. The body and the mind and the world are interacting. I am not a part of these interactions. I am ever free Atma. Is it clear, Anshu?
Yes, and it's all in the cosmos, it's all happening due to the own karma kanda of the cosmos. Is it
Yes,
not?
it is a karma kanda. No, what your meaning is, it is the karma of this entire
Karma.
universe. Yes, what it means is it is a karma. There is, see,
It's at lower level. It's at lower level.
yes, at a lower level, Vyavaharika level, things are happening. There is a law of karma which is holding the whole cosmos together. And the jivas are also coming in and going out. This is a law of karma. It is karma kanda portion of the Vedas.
And it will be there forever.
It will be there forever. It is
not affecting me.
Yes.
Free.
That's
full
correct.
of Adhyasa only.
That's correct. You see, it is correct. Understanding the whole cosmos is in action. But I am not affected by anything happen in the cosmos because I am the Atma. I am the higher nature. Like the waker is the higher nature compared to the dreamer. I am the super waker because now I have woken up to the higher nature of wakerhood.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good.
Okay.
I can see the flow of ideas in Amyanshu. Very good. I can see that you have understood the Adhyasa Bashyam. I'm very happy.
Shikharji, can I ask one question?
Please tell me.
Yes. So Adhyasa and Upadhi are not same.
Okay, Adhyasa is a result, is an effect.
Okay.
Upadhi is an instrument, body, mind, word, Upadhi. They are like the hibiscus flower kept in front of the crystal. A pure crystal, you keep a red flower in front of it. The red flower is the Upadhi. And that because of this Upadhi, I think that I am this body. Okay, I think you understood it.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay, next.
Shekharji, can I ask a question? Thank you for the session. My question is, while I say that, okay, the Atma, the consciousness is not me, there's no identification with it, no identification with the body, with the mind, with the intellect, with none of it. But while I'm living in the transactional world, my question is about how do I ensure that I am not getting into disassociation, which is the illusory process, and I'm actually in a witness state. I'm actually the Sakshi. So how do I do that?
Okay.
Because disassociation,
Yeah, good question. Very good question. See, what happens is the association with the body, mind, and intellect and the world is a natural process which happens. You don't have to do anything. Because the body is born, it will have association with the other people in the world. It will have association with the entire cosmos. You don't have to. When you are interacting with the world, for example, in the waking state, you are carrying out so many activities. You're doing shopping, you're cooking, you're eating, you're running, you're walking. So many activities are going on. You don't have to stop anything. Let everything go on. It will go on whether you like it or not. Because it is the karma of the body. It is like the bullet which has been already shot. It is like the arrow which has already been shot. It has to reach the target. So the body has been born. It will have children. It will have joy and sorrow. It will go through all the illusions of the world. It will go through. But you will not be affected. Why? Because in your mind, that ignorance has gone away, that I am this body. Through the study, what happens is internal changes happen. That internal change will help you to live a good life. You will not be, you automatically this will happen. You don't have to do anything. There is no illusion, nothing. It is It is a natural process. Both bondage and knowledge happen, they exist in the anatma world. Okay, so your question is, do I have to do something while living in the world to have the Sakshi Bhava?
Yes.
See, that Sakshi Bhava is a very, very, do you have to do anything after waking up and saying that I'm still troubled by the dream I saw last night? No, the dream is gone. So similarly, what will happen is, whenever you want to know yourself, this knowledge will come to you immediately. I am Atma.
Okay.
Only
The
when
other,
you want to know who you are. When you want to transact in the world, this question will never arise, because at that time it is you are living the body. Body's notion is going on, and whether you are walking, whether you are any type of vyavahara, that is why in Bhagavad Gita, there's a very beautiful verse there, Pashyan, Shrinvan, Jikran, Sprishan, all the activities of the bodies are going on at a lower level. They are at a lower level. Sakshi is unaffected at a higher level.
Right. Right. Also correlated to this is you spoke about punya and papam. So
Yes.
how does this punya and papam get allocated? Because that is also very important. If one is in the papam state, then the Sakshi Bhava will also not happen, I'm assuming.
No, Sakshi Bhava, once it happens, it is happening for in whatever state you are.
Okay.
You will
Once it
never,
arises,
you
it's
will
there.
never lose your identity as Sakshi.
Okay, it arises. Once it arises, it's
Yes.
there.
The moment it arises, you will always be Sakshi.
Okay.
That is why they say that ignorance must go away right from with the root. It should go away. So punya papam at that level will not affect you.
Does not exist
It
also.
does not exist also, because you're free. You're ever free. You know, and the best thing about this science is that when the mind becomes pure and this knowledge sinks in, it is an automatic process. It just happens. You yourself will say, why was I thinking about all these problems so far? That is all in ignorance. I was living this world. In ignorance, I was worried about my children. In ignorance, I was worried about my husband, my mother, my father. In ignorance. These are only thoughts in your mind. And these are all happening, no doubt. That is why it is called as mithya and maya. You see, the word maya, I will explain to you when I do the Panchadasi in Wednesday classes, or whenever you do some other advanced text in the Upanishads, this maya word will be explained.
Okay.
So that maya is something, it is a power. It is something which is there in this world, and it is it keeps on giving us the waking dream, sleep, waking dreams.
Yes.
It is a maya. It is a power of the maya shakti. Okay.
Right.
Keep listening. As you listen more and more, you will find that your own doubts are getting cleared.
Right.
And doubt clearance is called as purity of mind. The more I understand this Atma better and better, I am becoming pure. That is how it is.
So I focus on understanding the Atma, the consciousness.
Yes,
That's
consciousness.
it.
You see,
That's
in the Upanishads, there will be two parts. Your whole study of the Upanishad should be, I should learn about Atma and I should eliminate or falsify Anatma.
Okay.
That's all. Throughout the study, you should only have two objectives. Know and claim that Atma as the self, and disclaim the Anatma as non-self. It is there, it is existing, it is there, it is experienced, but it is not the truth.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hari Om.
Yeah, but tell me.
Yeah. So thanks for the class. I think a lot of effort for you to give that, and a lot of us still struggle with understanding it at the depth. Okay, but at the superficial level, which is at the adhyasa, we can understand it. What you are trying to say. And one question which arises, or otherwise one example I am looking for is now in the crystal and hibiscus example. What we are seeing is the hibiscus color of the hibiscus is superimposed on the crystal.
Correct.
But on the other side, the property of the crystal is not superimposed on the hibiscus, right?
Yes.
But whereas in our as a jiva, if I look at it, or as a body, the jiva is superimposed or the atma is superimposed on the body. Similarly, the body is superimposed on the atma. So that this the dual side effect is happening. So does the Shastra give a good example rather than remembering this complex one? Is there some other example like the crystal and the hibiscus that Shastra give us to understand the both side effect?
Rope snake, dream and sleep, dream and waking, shell silver. These are all the examples of adhyasa happening in both the sides.
It is both sides.
Yes. In the dream also, the waker, the ignorance of the waker is transferred to the dreamer. Therefore, the dreamer experiences the dream world. Okay, in the hibiscus example also, you are saying that there is no adhyasa happening between the crystal and the hibiscus. It is only the other way around. Hibiscus is seen in the crystal, and you are saying it becomes a red crystal.
That's how I understood.
Correct. See, what you should say is, whenever you're looking at the this is without the hibiscus, the crystal alone exists. Without the hibiscus, crystal alone exists. You can see the pure self. The existence of the hibiscus is known because of the crystal. That is how you should look at the adhyasa happening because of the crystal. The existence, suppose you are on the other side, you are saying, yes, there is a red flower. The red flower is seen only because of the crystal, not directly seen by, suppose there was no, you were seeing only the crystal. Then there is no existence of red flower. The existence of red flower comes because you are seeing through the crystal. This is a slightly subtler point. I'm just explaining to you that but to a very large extent, you are right, because that is a limitation of the hibiscus and the crystal example. That there is it is just a medium. See, what you should take from that example, the essence of that example you should take and say, yes, there is a superimposition happening.
Correct. The understanding is, the superimposition effect is conveyed by the hibiscus crystal example. I'm not disputing it.
Correct. That's all. You just take that as, only take that for the teaching purpose. That's all.
Correct.
And the rest of the things you don't consider at all. You just accept there is a superimposition happening.
Yeah. But my question was, do we have another example which shows the double effect of this, which is Atma having its the consciousness reflecting on the Jadam, and the properties of the Jadam is imposed on the Atma, which is we are seeing it on the body, right? Whereas that kind of an example, is there something which
Yeah,
correct.
see in the, no, we don't have such an example. We don't have such an example. The reason is simple. Atma is the only Paramarthika Vastu in the universe. Paramarthika means absolute reality. Everything else is Vyavaharika Satyam. It is not Paramarthika Satyam. In Vyavaharika Satyam, you can have Adhyasa between two objects also, in Vyavahara also. But what we are saying is there is a superimposition between Paramarthika, the absolute level, which is Atma, and Vyavaharika level, which is Anatma. So this type of example you will never find, because this is where, I mean, the reason is because there is only one absolute pure Atma in the universe. Everything else is Adhyasa. So you can't get an example for another example, live example, like in Vyavahara, because in Vyavahara, there are certain limitations. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. This is Manigandan.
Yeah, Mani.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your teaching. It's very easy to understand.
Yeah.
I have one question that we can understand the Adhyasa, like how to identify the properties of the mind, body, and all.
Yeah.
So in our transactional world, how whenever we get some problem, how we can quickly get into the knowledge of self and dissociate ourselves from this body-mind complex, because that is a very, very difficult thing in our day-to-day life. So we are getting carried away into the transactional world, forgetting our true nature. So what is the trigger, or how is there any hint that Upanishad or the Vedas are giving? How we can?
The hint is very simple. See, what happens is, in our day-to-day transactions, there are different types of situations. One situation where you should not run away from the situation, but you should solve the situation. You should solve the problem, whatever you're facing. Suppose you are in a situation and you are expected to do a duty there. You have to perform a duty. There you don't try to bring the knowledge of Atma and confuse yourself. Okay, so that is one type of situation where you are supposed to do a duty, do your duty. That is what is the solution in that particular situation. There is another situation where you feel that you are really getting disturbed, and you are really getting disturbed by a situation. The easiest way is to chant Om. If you want to know a method, because Om is a very, very powerful, it is a very powerful sound which will remind you of your nature. You just mentally chant Om. Suppose you are facing a very difficult situation in the office and it's troubling you a lot. Internally, just if you want to get rid of it, want to get out of it. You're asking me, is there a tip? Is there any solution? I mean, I can. This is what has been recommended by some of the acharyas. You want to get away from that sorrow, even if it is a bodily sorrow. For example, you're having acute pain. You want to just forget about it. Chant Om. Either just chant Om and Om and Om repeatedly, or just say Om Namah Shivaya, or any other chanting which you're used to chanting. See, the mantra which we chant in our internal, if you have made a habit of chanting, that mantra will protect you. It is the power of the mantra which will protect you from this sorrow. Have I answered the limit?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. This is very much helpful. Thank you very much.
Good. Anybody else?
Sekhaji,
Yes.
earlier you were saying that Lord Krishna to Arjuna to just do your job,
Yes.
right? To kill. But who is the doer then?
Who is the doer? Who is the doer means that it is the I notion in the body which is the doer, no? The ego, you see, you can't get rid of that I notion. It is doing the whatever it is has to do, it will do. That's all. For example, tomorrow morning you will get up at 5 o'clock, you'll brush your teeth, you will go around, walk for a walk, you will eat. All this, who is doing? It is the ego. It is the I notion which has taken the birth in this. I notion has taken this birth in this body.
Secondly, like as you say, we must forget the word I, right? Isn't it?
Yes, I mean,
So,
you should not
say
forget
we
it.
go
You should not forget the word I when you're doing your duty or when you are living in the waking state. You cannot forget the I. It will be there.
But let's say, supposing I'm sick, then we tell the doctor, I'm sick. We cannot use we or.
No. That time you have to use the word and say that is. See, don't confuse between living your life in the world with knowing who you are. You see, knowing your who am I is a different subject. You see, knowing I am the self is a different higher level. It is a different topic altogether. Living in the world, if the body is sick, you have to see a doctor. You have to take care of the body. The body has been given to us by Ishvara. And it is our job, it is our duty to take care of this body. Take care of the body, tell the doctor, this is the problem in the body. And the doctor will not know what is the problem in your body. You have to tell the doctor the problem. So,
the word I only one.
Yes, you have to use. Don't see, that is what I said. After studying the Adhyasa Bashyam, you will be aware that there is a superimposition. The transaction requires the I. That I is not me. That is what you should learn. See, the body is transacting in the world. It is eating. It is hungry. These are all I know. For doing this, the body will have an I notion. It is natural. It is provided by. This is the way that the world is created by God. Okay. Okay. There is a question in the chat. Example of red hot iron ball does reflect Adhyasa. You see, the red hot iron ball is generally used also to as an Adhyasa, where the iron ball is black in color. The redness is not its original nature. The fire is red. That redness of the fire is transferred to the black iron ball. Black iron ball looks red. It is Adhyasa. It is an example of Adhyasa. It is given in Vivek Chudamani. It's a very beautiful example. It is also to explain what is superimposition. So Tulsidas, you're right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll stop here. And then next week, we will finish this Adhyasa Bashyam. And if time permits, we will start the Kaivalya Upanishad and continue. And let's see how it goes. But next week, we will definitely close the Adhyasa Bashyam.
Hari Om, Shekharji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.